It's been a while since I last uploaded, and I do apologize for that. I've been really focused and burnt out on a really important exam, and depending on when I decide to actually edit this video, it's either gonna be uploaded before or after the exam, maybe even during. Hopefully after, because this would be my last year of high school. But, anyways, let's start the video. I've been on the internet for a long time, long enough to be in fandoms before I even knew what fandoms were. I've been in classic ones like Five Nights at Freddy's, Steven Universe, and even Little Nightmares for a bit. Of course, I'm in a few new ones, like Genshin Impact, The Owl House, Chainsaw Man, My Hero, and I'm probably gonna be in many more as different types of media gets created every day. That is to say, I've come to realize how boring and toxic fandoms have become. I'd like to premise this first to say that I know that fandoms will always have a toxic side of them, some of which are basically known for their toxic side. I only want to talk and shed some light on this increased toxicity in different fandoms recently, even if this video gets one viewer. Which is probably is considering I haven't uploaded in like 3 months and the algorithm is just gonna screw me over. Hello everyone. Let's talk about how boring and toxic fandoms has become. To figure out what makes a fandom boring, we first need to know what makes them fun in the first place. And when I put some thought into it, I realized what the problem is. Let me ask you, do you know what makes a fandom fun? Shipping, creating headcanons, making OCs, shipping said OCs to canon characters, even something like writing fanfictions and cosplaying. Every single thing I listed off comes in a package of being in fandom. But recently, I've seen so many people bully others because of them creating these types of stuff. Let me start with the most toxic and, at times, most controversial one. If you don't know what shipping is an act of one wanting or supporting two or more individuals involved in a romantic relationship. Shipping has been a thing for ages now, and with shipping comes shipping wars. I don't really mind with the whole shipping war thing. I actually enjoy seeing people discuss why they ship certain characters together, and maybe sometimes enjoy people basically fight to the death for certain ships. I myself can't help getting into shipping characters together because sometimes you just want to see the characters happy with each other. But recently, people have been getting more hostile when it comes to who they ship or not. Or more open to their hostility. So I'm just gonna say for the people in the back. People don't care who you ship. Whether it's a straight ship, a gay ship, a lesbian ship, a rare pair, a ship where two characters never met each other, a ship that doesn't make sense, a ship that's obviously never gonna happen, a ship that only exists for aesthetics, a ship where the characters are literally from two different companies. People just don't care. Canon or not canon, if there's two characters that exist, they will be shipped. Just cause two characters are already in a canon relationship doesn't mean people are just gonna magically stop shipping the other ships those characters are in. The only times you should get mad at a certain ship is if it's a pro ship, like an abuser with the abused, a minor with a literal adult. And even then, you should educate them on how harmful those ships can be, not berate them with insults and uneducated assumptions. Most times, people who ship pro ships do this because of their own trauma. Or maybe they're actually children that's behind that screen, thinking it's completely normal. When that happens, try to tell them that this is very harmful and damaging to not only themselves, but others around them as well. When people get exposed to these types of stuff, they will be desensitized by it and will most likely do it in real life. Because of this, they most likely don't realize it's really harmful to do such things. So when you see someone that ships pro ships, educate them first instead of insulting them with useless hate. There's also another group of ships that people tend to hate for no reason. OC is short for original character. Just based on that, you would probably know what that means. But it's basically a character someone creates on their own. A character that is original or is heavily inspired by other characters. Every single character ever created is an OC. Which is why I don't understand why people hate on others in a fandom for creating OCs. In fact, they receive more hate when they ship their OCs with other canon characters. Y'all do know OC X canon has been a thing for like the beginning of fandoms, right? It's definitely not the most popular thing in a fandom, but it's definitely something that shouldn't come to a surprise, especially when it comes to self-insert OCs. Why did I decide to make a video about toxic fandoms?
Hey everyone, Natalie here.
Ah!
Did you say the Sonic fandom?
I didn't even mention Sonic.
Yes, you did.
What?
Toxic fandoms, right? It says there on the script.
What do you mean script?
You know, the script for your video?
We're in a video?
The Sonic fandom, known for their great talent and passion, but also known for their toxic cesspit of community. Now, that isn't to say that the entire fandom is like that. For the most part, it's tame, with the only outlier being on Twitter. And you know what they say, negativity is louder than positivity. The Sonic Twitter is one of,
if not the most fucking confused space in Twitter. Like a simple debate about Sonic's muzzle curve was a week-long fight over which way his muzzle should look. Should it be curved or have a bump under his eye? More debates like Shadow Generations, how some immediately jumped and said the gameplay and level design resembled Sonic's Forces. For those who don't know, Sonic Forces is infamous for digging the franchise and the fandom deeper into hell with its lukewarm gameplay and laughable story that can't fit within being f***ing serious or a joke like how it was for the past 7 years at that point. Look, I get it. It's fine to be cautious, especially in a franchise where it's been down the mud for a decade and is only recently getting back on its footing. But Jesus Christ, people, we saw a slice 10 to 20 second worth of gameplay of one level. One level, for the love of that alone shouldn't be enough to judge and make an entire Twitter thread on how disappointed you are of it. And wouldn't you know, Shadow Generations turned out to be a solid 8.5 to 9 out of 10, bringing this franchise to higher heights and standards. All of these are non-issues that fall more into subjectivity on what you like. But there are far worse issues with this fandom than all of this. Stuff that genuinely needs to be pointed out. I asked for advice from my dear friend Sylvia Fox when making this segment for Enmity's video. These are the points she wanted me to bring up. The dogpiling of people who didn't like Frontiers to the point they drove people off the internet. There was a time, hell even right now at times, where people genuinely bullied off users just for not liking Frontiers. Let me f***ing repeat that. Not liking Frontiers. It's not even that these people hated it, they were just not a fan of the game. People got so riled up over this, like people saying, be grateful of what you have. We're here now because of it. And why does everyone hate the game now? That last one. Oh, I'm getting back to that later. I've seen countless people generally get pushed off the internet due to bullying and harassment over this. Look, I'll be upfront, my opinion on Frontiers is mixed. I see the vision and passion. I love running around the game, but that doesn't excuse the glaring flaws. I can barely play this game without mods to keep it together. Now, another problem that's been evident is the push of hate on Ian Flynn, the current lead writer for the games, and how even things he isn't involved in is being pinned on him. It's aggravating. Like, I get not liking his work, but throwing out insults and such isn't helping anyone. There used to be this segment in Ian's podcast called Bumblecast, where fans can ask stuff about his writing process or how he would shape a character. This led to him saying things that upset a group of fans, to the point Sega had to step in and make a deal for him to stop due to people clipping him out of context, starting drama within the community. This community, specifically Twitter, always having infighting that results in a negative change or harming someone in the process. The Sonic fandom isn't the worst of all. You have the likes of the FNAF fandom, but it is up there with the worst of the worst. And don't get me started on rule tips.
Okay, get out. Go to your room.
But I'm not done.
Zip it, or I'm hitting you with this again.
Jeez, I'll go. You don't have to be such a bug zapper about it.
Anyways, what's another thing people don't understand? Oh yeah, headcanons, cosplaying, and fanfiction. I'm gonna make this part short because there's really not much to say from me in this part of the fandom. I definitely delve into fanfictions, but that deserves a whole different video entirely. It can get a bit out there at times, that's for sure. I do wish to say a few things about the other two. I'm not usually into making headcanons of characters, but I do have to say one thing about it to the people who make headcanons as a lore buff myself. Headcanons does not equal to canon. They're just fun things you add to your favorite characters because you really like them. And I understand it. I have a few favorite characters of my own, and I sometimes make my own headcanons or even steal other people's headcanons because they're sometimes just too good. But I've seen some people claim some headcanons to be canon material, and that's just wrong. There's also the fact that people tend to headcanon stuff with assaults, self-harm, and other very horrible stuff. The thing that I have to say about that is the same with the people who do pro ships. Educate them, not hate them. They're most likely projecting or using these types of stuff as a way to cope. If you're the type of person to do this, stop. This is a very harmful way to cope, and it's best for you to seek some actual help. If you find people like this, try to help them. And finally, cosplaying. In all honesty, cosplaying is a whole different topic that I wish to discuss. I've never personally cosplayed, but I do wish to do it when I have the time. I only have two things to say though, specifically to the people that don't understand that there are different people in this world. Just cause a cosplayer has a different body type, skin color, face shape, or other stuff about their body, doesn't mean you should bully them for making the cosplay incorrect. I've seen so many comments where people really don't understand that people don't have control over that. People cosplay who they want to cosplay, and you can't stop them. As long as they're not hurting others or themselves, I think it's completely fine for a person to cosplay a character they want. And if you're a cosplayer yourself, don't be an idiot. Cosplay who you wanna cosplay. Just don't do one of the dumbest things you could do just to make a character more accurate. The only times you should do such things is when it's actually part of the cosplay. And stop harassing them. Whether you're a cosplayer or not, cosplayers are human beings. You wanna take a picture, hug them, or whatever, ask for permission. If they say no, it means no. Their cosplay doesn't mean it's an instant yes. I'm editing right now, and I just want to add one thing about cosplay. When a cosplayer cosplays a certain character, they don't need to know everything about said character. In fact, the person doesn't even need to be in the fandom of the character to actually cosplay it. If you like the way the character looks, cosplay the character all you want. A person doesn't need an extended knowledge of a certain character just to cosplay them. You can just cosplay a character just because they look really pretty. Yeah, sure, it adds a lot of sentiment towards the actual cosplay itself, but if you're not in the fandom or you know nothing of the character and you just want to cosplay them, go ahead. Nothing is stopping you. Hey, if you like the video so far, why don't you subscribe? I'm very close to 50 subs actually, so it would be very appreciated if I can achieve that. And, maybe also like the video if you want. So, my conclusion to all of this. It seems like people view opinion as facts and canon to be the only thing to follow. Every toxic thing that happens in fandoms today still happened 10 years ago, and I have no doubt it's still gonna happen in the next 10 years. It's just, from what I remember at least, this type of discussions and toxicity typically happen in weird 4chan discussions, or maybe Twitter when it was still considered Twitter, Reddit posts that people don't take seriously. All I can say as a form of advice to people, because it seems like people just lost the ability to do so, be nice. It seems like everyone stopped the ability to express genuine kindness towards others. I feel like it has something to do with the 2020 pandemic thing that happened. As I said, when it comes to fandoms, there's always going to be some sort of toxicity in it. But the best anyone could do is to be more open-minded. There's going to be tons of people with different opinions and different perspective than yours when you go into a fandom, especially if it's a really popular one. Sending death threats to someone just cause they have a different opinion will not do anything. I may sound corny on that last part, but it's true. I bought a new mic. Had to ask my brother to buy it for me actually, which I'm very thankful of. I already explained a little bit at the beginning of the video, but the reason why it's been like 3 months since I last uploaded is because of a really big exam. It's a pretty important exam actually. I think by the time I actually upload this video, it's probably gonna be around the end of January, and I would need about another paper to go through until I would finally finish my final school year, if that's true. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to go to college or not, but I am going to have a 1-year break from education, that's for sure. If you made it to the end, thank you for watching. That being said, goodbye everyone.